Using that regenerative braking, you can see it's adding power right there, more power. Look at that thing. What's going on, everybody? In this video, what I'm going to do like a quick little review for y'all of the Hiboy S2 Pro. I'm just going to kind of like go over some of the specs and then start back here at this, the tail of this thing, and just kind of like go forward and show you some of the features that you get when you get one of these things. Okay, starting off with the assembly of this thing. You know, I got this thing in, it came in a big box, and it was very simple to put together. I took it all out, it was packaged very nicely, and the only thing I had to do was put these two screws in right here and bolt the handlebars and all that on. If you've ever put together furniture, you'll be able to put together a Hiboy S2 Pro, that's for sure. So let me just go ahead and get into the specs now. And you get this owner's manual that goes to the S2 and S2 Pro, and it kind of has both the specs of both of these. The max speed on this thing is, they have 19 miles per hour. The range on this thing, they're saying is 25 miles, and in my testing, I've been getting anywhere between 17 to 23 miles of kind of like continuous riding. And obviously I'm in sport mode the entire time. If you're in eco mode, I think you could stretch that out to around about 25 or 30 in eco mode, and that's also using your foot some here and there. The battery pack rating on what they're rating is a 36 volt. The capacity on this battery is a 11.6 amp hour battery on it. So moving on to the hub motor here, actually really impressive for the size of this scooter. This is a 500 watt hub motor that has a peak power of 750 watts of power if you really push this thing. So I was really impressed on how well this little hub motor pulled me around. The charger port is in the stem, which is actually a really good spot to put a charging port instead of down here. And while it's folded down, it makes it really easy to charge this thing. One thing I want to note about these tires, these are not pneumatic tires. These are solid foam tires. This thing does not have like a full suspension built into it, but it does have a good amount of shocks, and you can jump off curbs and do whatever and absorb a little bit of that. This is a metal fender that's braced off right here, and it has a brake light, a working brake light that goes in it. It's mechanical disc brakes on the back. It's a 120 millimeter rotor, which is more than enough for something of this size, and these work extremely well. This rear brake is a beast. You can lock this thing up, you can tail slide this thing, you can whip it around. This thing right here is where, when the locking mechanism, it is padded out, and so when the stem comes down, it locks in right here, and then you can carry it around. So it is a folding mechanism that locks in right there, because I didn't know what that was. So you'll lock it down, you'll bring the stem down, lock it in, and there you go. The deck right here looks like it's around about 7 to 8 inches wide. It has this kind of like grippy surface on it that's like a rubber that has traction built into it. You're seeing this little thing. How about this? This thing has an available seat for it. So if you want, you can buy a seat, and it's kind of like a handlebar stem. It goes in and expands out, and that seat will lock into place and it will not move. But it is foldable, so the seat can come down and up. It's great that they have that option. If you want to have a sit down, you're ready to go. The battery's encased in it right here. You can see it, and you can kind of see the shocks down in there. There's dual shocks down in there. One thing that's impressive, look how thick this metal is. That's a very beefy looking metal. This is your hub motor. Once again, the solid tires, these are solid rubber tires, really good. It has reflectors built into the side. That is not a light, but that is a reflector right there that kind of just gives you some more kind of safety on the front right there. And then this right here is where you would adjust, where you would drop it down. You can see how easy that is, but it will not come down on you when you have this latching mechanism. It has a lock on it, so you're not worried about it coming down, but the quality of this thing is really nice. One thing you'll notice, it's a very short handlebar. That was the one thing that I wish the handlebars were maybe about 2 to 3 inches longer on each side, just to give you a little more like wider grip on there. But you know what, you get used to it, and it worked just fine for me. The hand grips need to be, they're not locking hand grips. I can turn them if I really twist on it, but you'll never notice that while you're riding, and they're super grippy. These are very grippy hand grips. So the left side is the regenerative braking. You heard me right. This has regenerative braking on it. So when you're going down a hill, push the red button down, and it adds power. It stops the motor, but it also adds power back into it. I did watch my meter go up slightly as I was using that. You can see right here, it'll have a little meter going up, and I watched a bar actually add back one time when I was doing that. So that's pretty cool that they have regenerative braking. Not many have regenerative braking, especially in this price range. So good job on Hiboy on doing that. I can tell you, well. That's a feature that it worked well, worked way better than I thought it would on this little scooter. So if you're running quick errands, you can always hang a bag or something like a jacket or something right here and just let it dangle down. I like that little feature of having that right there. This lever is the rear brake. This will lock up the tire. I'm not a big fan of bells. I have talked about that in some of my other e-bike videos, but listen to this bell, everybody. It is a dual bell, very nicely designed. It's on a spring, back, forward. It gives you 2 rings for every pull, and it's at a great location where the hand is. You can come from the brake to there and go back. It's cool that they integrated it into the brake lever like that, so it's not like an extra piece grabbing a hold right here. You have a thumb throttle. It does have a little NAR grip on it, just a normal plastic thumb throttle that's on the right. Good job on that they have it on the right side instead of the left side, especially here in the United States. Now moving on, let's turn this thing on. So to turn this thing on, you're gonna press that for like 2 seconds, and as soon as you press it, it comes right on. You can see how it pops right on. It might be flickering a little bit in the shutter on the camera here, but that's not what it's doing right now. It's a solid on, and you can see the red S means I'm in sport mode. There's the speedometer and the battery there. You double tap it once, double tap it, you hit it twice like a double tap. Now it's this green S. That means I'm in eco mode. Eco mode for me, it seemed like it went from 0 to about 13 miles per hour when it's in eco mode, and it worked just fine on that. And then when I wanted to go back in sport, you hit it twice, red popped up, it went back in. And by the way, this has an app, and all of this is controlled by an app too. I will go over the app in a little bit of a ride test coming up. And then to turn on the headlight, you're just gonna kind of like press it. Like one press gives you the headlight. You see the headlight there? And the headlight just popped on. Now this headlight is not the brightest of headlights, but you know what? It worked. When this headlight comes on, you also get all of your LEDs. I'll show you up on the screen what it kind of looks like at night. The rear tail light and the side lights look absolutely amazing in the dark. The headlight could use some work. If I'm gonna be riding late at night, I'm gonna add my own little headlight right here. I'm just gonna put my aftermarket headlight to give me a little more power on that. Let me go ahead and do a little ride test and kind of like give you my opinions of how it rode, and using the app. I'll do a real world test of the app and riding it around a parking lot and on and off trails and putting it to the test. So let's click over to that, and then after that I'll come back with my final thoughts and kind of give you my opinion of who I think this is good for and what I liked and what I didn't like about this. So yeah, let's get to the ride test. So you're gonna open the app, and here's what the great thing about having this. So I'm gonna open the app here. I do have Bluetooth, so I am connected. I can lock and unlock it here. So now it's locked, now it's unlocked. See, watch this. See how nothing works? It turns it off. So I have locked the scooter so it can't be moved when it's locked. The headlight, and when the headlight's on, the tail light's on. So I just showed you that. And then over here, cruise control. That's cruise on or off. Now, the cruise control comes on after you hold down the button. The cruise control will come on. I actually like the cruise control. It doesn't bother me. And going into the details here, so looking at the details, remaining battery 60%. I have been riding it, so that's how I know I have more battery. Miles per hour, battery voltage is 37.7. The current is 0. All of this stuff will change as you're riding. You see that? So as I'm moving it, you see how it's changing. It's giving me all of that data. I absolutely love that. And it has the controller temperature, which is a handy thing to see if your controller is getting hot or not. Pretty much that's everything. We're gonna start out on slow. I'm not gonna use their speedometer. I'm gonna use my own speedometer. So let me open that, get it back to 0. So let's start right here and let's start the speed test now. This is full throttle. So their speed is saying I'm doing 13. The GPS is saying 12. It just locked into cruise control, by the way. It's looking like you're gonna hold about 11 to 12 maxed out on the slow. What I'm gonna do is double tap it. When I double tap it, you see now it's in red with an S there. I am officially in sport mode. In my testing, I got it up to 18. So let's see if we can hit 18 again. Same route. Ooh, I spun the tires. You hear that? It's showing me a power meter that I'm full power. 14. Cruise control just kicked in. I'm still full throttle. Looks like 15, 16. I think this thing will hold 15 to 17 pretty easy for my weight. And I'm 180, 185, and this thing is smooth sailing. I like riding this thing. It's almost like you're levitating down the road. And you want to kind of get a lean back with the knees bent. Trust me, I found out the hard way. You don't want to wipe out on a scooter. It is not fun. I'm in cruise control now. And then to kick it out of cruise, obviously just touch the brake and it'll stop the cruise control. It's so fun to kind of like weave on this thing. So lean back, left and right at the same time. The back wheel slid. Look at that, everybody. Look at that mark. So what I do like is they figured out that you don't want to lock up that front. I've seen other scooters where the front will lock up on you and you will go over the handlebars. Let's do a little off-road action right here. This thing is not built for off-road, but basic gravel and like outside like this, it works just fine. You can ride it in the grass pretty easy. Everybody, there's the full walkthrough, components, testing, specs, everything you need to know on this thing. The power on that 500-watt motor was very impressive on pulling me up hills. The brakes are absolutely phenomenal. You can pull this back brake and you can lock that thing up and go into a tail slide all day long. The regenerative braking is one of the coolest features I've seen on a scooter of this price point. That's really cool that they did that, and it's a slow stop down. The lightness and how easily you can fold this down, put it in the trunk of a car, take it anywhere. Very good that they did that. They did a really good job on the quality. I feel like this thing's going to outlast a lot of people then because the way they built this thing, and they have upgradables for this thing like the seat. You can buy baskets and things like that. There's several options, and you can replace. Everything on this is replaceable. They sell handlebars, they sell tires, they sell batteries, they sell everything for this thing. So if anything goes wrong, you can order it and replace it. So good job on Hiboy on adding that feature to there. Had a really good range. 20 miles on a scooter like this is a very impressive day for getting out riding. That's a long ways when you think about it to be on a scooter. I would think 90% of the people are going to use this for kind of short commutes, maybe around campus, a college student or something like that, because the ability to fold this thing down and move it around, bring it indoors, bring it in a dorm or something like that. Now going on to some of my improvements that I think Hiboy can improve on. Number one, the handlebars. The handlebar width is very short. Like I said, I'd like to see these handlebars about another 2 to 3 inches out on the sides. And what that would do, that'd give you room here, and it also give me a little more room to give me a little more control over the handlebars. It's very tight. Your hands are very close together. I get used to it and I was totally fine. Never had any issues with it. It would have been very easy to tap in here to add a water bottle holder that's actually screwed in, that's not just Velcroed around. I'd like to have seen that up, but once again, that's a very small, minimal thing on that. I have to think about the price range and who they're targeting with this. They're targeting more your kind of like your commuters that's around campuses, or like going back and forth to the store, or going and getting things in town or something, just out having fun on this thing. And I will leave links below if you're interested in this or anything you've seen in this video. That's all I got today, everybody, on the Hiboy S2 Pro without a seat. See y'all in the next video.